It extends past, but you do have a hairline where the hair is starting to come through the lace. And what I recommend is that you take this to your professional hairstylist. That way it can cut and you don't take a chance of destroying the wig or the lace by cutting it too far back. Now there's several different ways that you could cut your lace. You don't want to use too big of a scissors because you want to have control. I've seen some manufacturers or some individuals use the pinking shears. Personally, I don't prefer that because it leaves a strong point. So if I were to use that, I would say you may want to go back and slightly trim the point because you don't want that to flip back. Now, I prefer either a very small pair of scissors. This is kind of like from your seamstress, from the, I guess you'd say Joann, your fabric store, or you have a smaller set. This is kind of like, I would say with your nail shop or really some fine cutting. And I like the smaller one because as you cut, then it's very controlled. You don't have anything too big where you could possibly cut too far back. Now, as I was mentioning, every manufacturer is a little different. Sometimes there is a line that helps you to know to not cut past the line so you don't get into the hair, because if you get too far into the hair, there's a chance that you could start losing the hair quicker. So you want to make sure it's a little bit further down. Now, before I cut the lace, I may spritz it with water, and then what I like to do is really just kind of pull the hair back because you want to see where the hair starts to come out and where the lace is. So I'm going to take a moment and just kind of pull the hair back a little. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Really, you're just wanting to, being on camera is not something I always do. So, but like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Really, you just want to get the hair pulled back so you can see exactly what it is you're doing. And as I said, there's several different ways. Some people like to use a razor, and you can do that right on the mannequin head. If you're using one of these small scissors, you can take it off, but I still want to look and see where exactly it is I'm going to cut. So let me, as they say, let me get my eyeballs on so I can make sure myself that I'm not going to cut. So again, just to explain a few things why I want to cut a little further down is the fact that you don't want to go so far back that you don't have the, how would you put it? I want to have it lay still flat on the head. So I don't want to go too far back for the simple reason that I don't want to cut the hair. And then the next thing is if I leave it a little bit further, I have the opportunity to go back and cut a little bit more if need be. As they say, once it's cut, you can't put it back on. You always want to be a little more on the cautious side rather than accidentally going too far back. So I'm not going to use the razor today, and hopefully you can see this. I may turn it just a tad bit because I'm more on the right hand side. So let me start. I'm going to make sure you can still see it too. So hopefully I don't block. And I would say go a little bit further down here. And can you still see it? Another thing that I want to mention is, if possible, try not to go completely straight, because with the lace, I want to keep it natural looking. Some people may have like a widow's peak and they may want to come a little bit further out here. So if you want to kind of have a little bit of a natural curvature, that's perfectly okay. And I'm going a little on the slower side because I want you to kind of see. And let me turn it a tad bit more. I want to make sure the whole point is that you can see what I'm doing. There you go. And as you can see, I kind of started there. And since I have the camera, I may go ahead and start over here now, and then I can come back. There you go. I think you can see it much better there. So again, I'm going to pull the hair back. And to make sure I don't go, I think these scissors actually cut a little better from that side. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Sorry guys, since this cuts better from this side, I'm going to come back over here. Lots of moving, but there you go. And the most important thing, you don't want to go too far back. Make sure, because you can always come back and cut a little more. And if you're wearing makeup, that's going to slightly tint a little bit, and then you can always wash it off if you get too much. But with the lace, as you wear the makeup, it's going to actually help it blend into your skin that much more. I'm trying to stay out of your way, guys. Let's see, make sure. I have done this off the mannequin head, but I wanted y'all to be able to see it. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way. The main thing is you don't want to go too far back. And this gives me a chance to come back, maybe do a little more. And I'm thinking of if you had a widow's peak. Now over here you still have that little bit of the, kind of like a slight hint of polyurethane. I'm going to try to cut that a little bit more. And I don't want to go too far back because that hair is going to actually come down, but so I don't want it to undo from the sides. Let's see. Now what we may want to do, I don't know if we're going to try it on so you can see, but let's get a little bit closer. I could probably even go back a little more, but maybe a little more on this side. But you kind of get the idea. You don't want to go too far back, and you want to give yourself a little bit of room that it still is going to hold safely upon your own head. Now, if you feel like you want to have a little bit more security, what I love to do with my wigs is I'll put some It Stays, that's a water-soluble product, and just press that down, and that'll help hold it throughout the day without any movement. And hopefully that helped you out to get an idea on how to cut the lace on your human hair wig that's already been designed for you to cut it to your perfection and customize.